For 5,000 years, these stones have kept their secret. They stand on a wind-swept plain, a silent circle of giants that has baffled historians, archaeologists, and mystics for millennia. We've been told they're a temple, a graveyard, a place of sacrifice, an unsolvable mystery. But what if there's something more? What if they're a machine? A machine built to read the cosmos and maybe even predict our future. We think the builders of Stonehenge left us a message, a code hidden in plain sight. And tonight we're finally going to read it. When you stand before Stonehenge, you can't help but feel small against the weight of time. Most people see a ruin, a beautiful but broken relic. But the closer you look, the more deliberate it all seems. The massive sarsen stones, some weighing 50 tons, were dragged 20 miles to be here. The smaller blue stones, each still a multi-ton behemoth, were brought from over 140 miles away in Wales. This wasn't random. This was a statement. For centuries, the big question was just, why? Why pour generations of effort without metal tools or the wheel into building this? Theories have been all over the map, from a druid temple to a healing center where the blue stones were thought to have magical properties. But these ideas only scratch the surface. They explain why it might be a sacred place, but they don't explain the breathtaking precision behind it. What if the mystery isn't the point? What if the stones are not just objects to be worshipped, but parts of a highly sophisticated device? To understand what it does, you first have to understand how this incredible machine was built. Stonehenge wasn't a weekend project. It was an obsession that spanned over 1,500 years. It all started around 3000 BCE, long before the famous stones were ever raised. The first builders dug a massive circular ditch and bank, what we call a henge. Inside, they dug 56 mysterious pits, known today as the Aubrey Holes. This was phase 1, the blueprint. And even then, they set up a standing stone at the entrance, the heel stone, to mark the exact spot of the summer solstice sunrise. The machine's main purpose was already being locked in. Then, around 2500 BCE, construction went into overdrive. This is when the legendary stones arrived. First, the blue stones from the Preseli Hills in Wales, a massive feat of transport that we still argue about today. Then came the real giants, the sarsen stones. These colossal sandstone blocks were shaped with shocking skill. The builders used interlocking joints, mortise and tenon like a woodworker, to lock the heavy lintels on top of the uprights. This wasn't just building, it was precision engineering on a scale that's hard to wrap your head around even now. They weren't just making a monument, they were assembling the hardware for something big. They were building a computer out of stone. The first piece of Stonehenge's code is written in sunlight. Put simply, it's a giant, astronomically aligned calendar. The whole thing is pointed directly at the sunrise on the summer solstice, the longest day of the year. If you stand in the middle of the circle on that morning, the sun pops up right over the heel stone. And on the flip side, on the winter solstice, the shortest day of the year, the setting sun lines up perfectly in the gap of the tallest trilithon, that huge 3-stone archway at the heart of the monument. These 2 days marked the turning points of the year. For a Neolithic farming society, this was everything. Knowing when to plant, when to harvest, and when to party was the key to survival. The stones, tracking the sun, gave their lives a rhythm. This solar alignment made Stonehenge a massive clock ticking off the seasons. But that's just the hour hand. The real secret, the part of the code that took us way longer to crack, involves a much trickier and more mysterious object: the moon. The sun's path is steady and predictable. The moon, it's a lot more complicated. It doesn't rise and set in the same spot, and its cycle is much more subtle. This is where the next layer of the code reveals itself, through 4 special stones set just inside the main circle, known as the station stones. These 4 stones form a perfect rectangle, and for decades nobody knew what they were for. But astronomers and archaeologists now believe they were set to track a rare and complex lunar event, the Major Lunar Standstill. This only happens once every 18.6 years. It's the point in the moon's long cycle when it rises and sets at its most extreme northern and southern points on the horizon. The long sides of the rectangle made by the station stones line up perfectly with these extreme moon positions during the standstill. If the solar alignment was the clock's hour hand, the lunar alignment was the fine-tuned minute hand, a far more advanced predictive tool. This discovery turned Stonehenge from a simple calendar into a true astronomical observatory. And here's the amazing part. We are in a major lunar standstill season right now, through 2024 and 2025, letting researchers watch these ancient alignments happen in real time, proving the machine still works. So we have a solar clock and a lunar calculator built with mind-bending precision over thousands of years. And if you think that's incredible, hold on. We're just scratching the surface of what this machine could really do. Tracking the sun and moon is one thing, but the ultimate function of the Stonehenge machine might have been way more powerful: predicting eclipses. This is where those 56 Aubrey holes from the very beginning circle back into the story. Back in the 1960s, astronomer Gerald Hawkins laid out a wild theory in his book, Stonehenge Decoded. He suggested that the 56 holes weren't for posts or burials, but were actually sockets for a celestial calculator. By moving markers, maybe stones or wooden posts, around the circle in a specific pattern, the ancient builders could track the complex 18.6-year lunar cycle. It could have worked like this. Move a moon marker 2 holes every day, and you complete a circuit in 28 days, pretty close to a lunar month. Moving other markers could track the sun and, crucially, the lunar nodes, the points where the moon's orbit crosses the sun's path. When the sun, moon, and node markers all lined up in the same spot, an eclipse was coming. To a prehistoric people, an eclipse, the moment the sun or moon vanishes from the sky, would have been a terrifying, powerful omen. Being able to predict that moment would give the priests or chiefs who knew the code immense power. This wasn't about telling time anymore. This was about controlling the story of the cosmos itself. For decades, the story of Stonehenge was rooted in southern England and Wales. But a potentially game-changing discovery from 2024 has thrown a massive wrench in the works. A paper published in the journal Nature has presented compelling evidence that the central altar stone did not come from Wales as everyone thought. Using advanced geochemical analysis, researchers have traced its likely origin to the Orcadian Basin in northeast Scotland, over 460 miles away. The sheer difficulty of hauling a 6-ton stone that far, probably by sea, is staggering. It suggests that building Stonehenge wasn't just a local project, it was a pan-British endeavour, demanding a level of cooperation and shared purpose across the whole island that archaeologists never thought possible for this period. This one discovery reinforces just how important the monument was. People from every corner of Britain were invested in this grand machine. It was a symbol of unity, connecting different tribes through a shared understanding of the cosmos. This doesn't change the astronomical code, but it makes it even more significant. It tells us the message written in the stones was meant for and created by people from across their entire known world. So, have we finally decoded Stonehenge? The answer is both yes and no. We've cracked the astronomical code. We get it now. This isn't a random pile of rocks. It's a brilliantly designed machine, built to track the sun's yearly journey, the moon's complex 18.6-year cycle, and almost certainly to predict the terrifying moments when the lights in the sky went out. It's a masterpiece of Neolithic engineering and a testament to a people we once called primitive. They were astronomers, mathematicians, and engineers. They left behind no written language, but they didn't need to. They wrote their story in stone and sky, a message that has taken us 5,000 years to learn how to read. The code is astronomical, sure, but what about the message? What was the point of this grand cosmic theatre? A warning? A promise of the sun's return? A story of their gods written in the stars? Maybe that's the one secret the stones will always keep. That final question that makes sure Stonehenge will forever have a hold on us. So we have a solar clock and a lunar calculator built with mind-bending precision over thousands of years. And if you think that's incredible, hold on. We're just scratching the surface of what this machine could really do.